So
It is.
I just loved your story so much, and I knew I had to connect with you because there were so many. First of all, it's so unique to other near-death experiences. Like you said, it wasn't the tunnel and the white light and the love and like all of
Yeah.
that typical NDE kind of stuff. It was so unique, and I felt more. For me, it resonated more with me than any of that kind of stuff because it felt more real. And you saw or experienced the what we call the matrix soul pods. You refer to it as like a petri dish, but the way you drew them here is so interesting. You told me when we spoke that they weren't actually colors; they were more like gray, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, let me tell you that during my when I was sitting on the planet, I'm sitting there with that guy, and that's part of my story. I keep forgetting, is from planet to planet, from here to there. There were formulas, there were algebraic equations going across the sky, mathematics. So it was all hooked up. It was all attached, and also there was an astrological uh, empire of buildings, or not buildings, but something that was seen. And it wasn't for them to tell fortunes, it was a method of recognition. This was here. This was the error of this. This was the error of that. There were errors, and those astrological um, signs, or the universal astrology, they're different than Earth, okay? They're up there, and they represent um, a portion, or where we've been, or as a universe, or where, it's a signal. I can't exactly describe it, but it's
Like
it's
an energy
yeah,
signature.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So what was, I'm sorry, I interrupted you. You were asking about the pods.
Yeah, I wanted to go deeper into that because it's very interesting. So you colored them in your book. You
I
used
did.
colors, but you told me they were more like grayish,
Right.
which is so interesting because I told you about my own pod experience and
Yes.
other like clients that have seen these too or have experienced these and that have come through in regressions as far as like pre-birth kind of like areas of pre-birth. So
Right.
what came through in my regression was that these the way you drew them here with the color,
Uh huh.
right? These were our original soul pod matrix, matrix soul pods, where we chose to anchor ourselves into these pods and then project our consciousness down into earth as if it was a game, a school to come for learning lessons and just experiencing and playing with each other and soul growth, all of those kinds of things that we're told that earth is, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that used to be true
Right.
before it was hijacked at some point. It was hijacked. And I
Yes.
think that's what actually turned the pods like gray, like they're gray now. They're not colored like they used to be. I think this is an actual memory for you with these colors.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah. Because
Yeah.
the practitioner that I had my regression with, she actually received more information after my session. And the way she's had someone draw it since, and I'm going to show you because it's very similar
Okay.
to the way it's a little different, but similar. Like the color is
Mm-hmm.
similar to that blue.
Oh yeah. Very much so.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they were like chrysalis pods
Right.
that we use to project our consciousness down into here in the organic matrix system. But then
Mm-hmm.
at some point, they were taken over and the energy is now gray like you saw it.
Probably so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, because I saw a petri dish, something that looks like a petri dish.
yeah.
Doesn't bunch of
Yeah.
them?
Yeah. Yeah. So you
And I
actually
thought,
saw it like a petri dish. And what was it
mhm,
like for you to be in that space? What did that feel like?
okay, people say it was gray, it was black. I saw absolutely no color. There was nothing. It was absolutely nothingness. There was nothing to see. Total loneliness.
Like a void
Uh,
space? Like when people describe no different?
Nothing. I cried out, I'm over. Somebody see me. I'm here. And there was just nothingness. And that's when that being, whether it was AI, which I kind of think it was probably AI coming to, I don't know. I didn't see them, but they
Hmm.
lifted me up. They didn't say anything, and I didn't feel any warmth from them.
Hmm.
I was taken, and here you are, and then you start the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I was feeling because when I saw it, and you can tell me if you don't want to talk about this because I know like you
yeah,
feel a little uncomfortable maybe. But when I saw the pods that I was seeing, they were being monitored by Grace. Um, and it wasn't like they were evil or anything like that. It was just their job. Like they were just
yeah,
monitoring the pods, making sure everything was running okay. It was just very, like cut and dry, very kind of scientific. Like that was just their jobs. That's what they were there to do. Um,
right,
but so that's what I saw, and then what came through later um, was that was the hijacking. Like the alien presence was the hijacking
right,
itself. So yeah, so it's interesting that you say that there was no feeling from them because that's what they're known for. Like there's no feeling, there's no heart
right,
connection. It's just
right.
you know.
Being a petri dish
Flat,
sounds very scientific
flat.
in the sense of like their experiment.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
As you saw from the video, this lady had an NDE where she saw soul pod containers for souls. Now, the lady that was interviewing her, she had a past life regression done, and in her regression session, she saw gray aliens that were monitoring the pods that souls were in and were basically making sure the operation went well. Also, the lady said that there was an original Matrix system that was hijacked, and now we are living in the current Matrix system ran by these gray aliens. Now, I believe that these gray aliens are just other universal beings using this as a disguise to further trick us. To demonstrate what I mean, again, I'll go back to the story that I used in my very first video I did, the story of the Isbies with Matilda O'Donnell McElroy. And basically, the story goes that everyone is an Isby. Everyone is an eternal spiritual being. But not every Isby or eternal spiritual being are on the same page. Some Isbys or eternal spiritual beings have certain agendas against other Isbys, so forth, so on. In the story of the Isbys, aka eternal spiritual beings, sometimes Isbys will go around and hijack the planets of other Isbys and enslave them. And that's just basically what's going on in the universe. Now, if you connect the story of the Isbys to the interview in this video where both the ladies said they had experiences of seeing pods and gray aliens and soul pods, it all should make sense.